Today we're going to learn a little bit more about algebraic or Cartesian vectors. The first thing that you're going to notice in this example that I have here is that I'm not defining my vectors with numerical values. I'm leaving my vectors in terms of x and y, and whenever you're asked to do a proof or whenever we do a proof, this is what we will do so that we're proving it for every situation and not just one specific situation. So in this first example, I'm letting A equal components x1, y1, and vector B is equaling components x2, y2. What we're trying to prove is that vector A subtract vector B is components x1 minus x2, y1 minus y2. So the first thing that you need to remember when you're doing a proof is that we cannot assume that the left side is equal to the right side. We want to work with the left and we want to work with the right, and when we're done we are able to make a statement saying yes or no, they are equal or aren't equal. So the first thing that I'm going to say, and I'm just going to draw like a line here to show that we're starting the answer. In the question, it told us that vector A was equal to x1, y1, and it told us that vector B was equal to x2, y2. Now, what we do know because of those is that vector negative B would equal negative x2, negative y2. So the first thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at just the left side of this equation right here. And so the left side says vector A minus vector B. Now we know that that is the exact same as vector A plus vector negative B. Now if I'm going to plug in those components, it's easy for me to see that now I'm just adding up these components. So I've got an x1 plus a negative x2, and then a y1 plus a negative y2. Now again, I can remember or look up, I'm trying to prove that it equals what's on the right hand side here. So I'm just going to simplify this a little bit more. x1 take away x2, y1 take away y2, and what I have proved is that therefore my left side is equal to my right side. This is exactly equal to this. On the last slide we went through a proof, and on this side we're going to go through some specific examples. So given vector x equals 2, 3, and vector y equals negative 1, 4, they want us to find x plus y. So we can simply just write these components in. So 2, 3 plus negative 1, 4. And then when I add my x's, I get 2 plus negative 1, so 1, and then 3 plus 4, 7. Part B says 5y minus 2x. So I'm going to rewrite my 5. Instead of the y, I'm going to plug in my vector y, negative 1, 4, minus 2 times, and instead of x, I'll write 2, 3. I'm going to multiply each of those components by the scalar out front. So 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, 5 times 4 is 20, minus 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. And then subtract each of these components. So negative 5 subtract 4, negative 9, and 20 subtract 6, 14. In this last example, we are looking for the magnitude of x plus y, or the length of that vector x plus y. So we did find this above. We found it in part A. So I'm looking for the length of that vector 1, 7. So I'm going to be using my length formula, and I'm going to do the square root of 1 squared plus 7 squared. So the square root of 1 plus 49, and the square root of 50. Now, since I didn't give you any rounding instructions, I do want you to assume that I want your answer in exact form. So some of your teachers may have made you do this in the past. I know that I made my grade 11s do that last year for sure. So if you are not used to that, you might need a little bit of extra practice. Basically, we're going to take this square root of 50 and we're going to think about what perfect square can go into 50. So I'm going to rewrite this as root 25 times root 2 because 25 times 2 is 50. I know that the root of 25 is 5, and so my answer in exact form is 5 root 2. So this next example is another proof. So I'm going to remember that I need to use general terms. So I'm going to start off this proof by saying that A is equal to x1, y1. And then we're going to let K be a scalar. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my left side. So my left side is a scalar K times vector A. Now, if this were a 2, if K were equal to 2, I would know that I have to do my vector A plus that vector A again. If K were a 3, I would have to do vector A plus vector A plus vector A. Now, when we're doing a proof, we can't just choose a number and say that it works. We have to prove that it would work for any number that we could possibly put in here. So what I'm going to say is that we're going to do x1, y1 plus dot, 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 dot plus x1, y1. And we're going to do this k times. Now, if I do this, I know that I'm going to have x1 plus dot, 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 dot plus x1. And we're going to have that k times. So we're going to have k number of x's. And then I'm going to get y1 plus dot, 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 y1. And I'm going to have that k times. So if I have x1 plus x1 plus x1 plus x1 dot, 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 k times, I can rewrite that as k times x1, and then the exact same thing for my y1 plus y1 plus y1 plus y1 k times. That would give me k y1. Now, what I can see is that this is what my left side now looks like, and that looks exactly what I wanted my right side to be. That's what my original right side is equal to. So therefore, we officially have left side is equal to right side. I'm going to spend some time talking right now about unit vectors. They have been mentioned before, but I think they are really important, especially in the upcoming sections. So what I have here is unit vector I and j. So these are set vectors. If you see I, you should know that it's 1, 0, and if you see j, you should know that it's 0, 1. I'm just going to give you a quick little visual. So unit vector I has an x-coordinate of 1 and a y-coordinate of 0. So this is unit vector I. And then j has an x-coordinate of 0 and a y-coordinate of 1. So j is right here. Now we are going to be using them a lot in the upcoming sections. They are preferred a lot of times, and they're really useful in letting us see something in a way that maybe we wouldn't see it without the use of the unit vectors. For some reason, a lot of students have a lot of difficulty thinking about something that has a unit of 1 or changing something to a unit vector, so I'm hoping that this video helps clear it up a little bit. So in this example, we're going to be using some unit vectors eventually. The first part of this example says, given R is 5, 4 and S is 3, 2, find RS. Now we know by now that whenever we're finding a vector RS, we're going to be taking the vector s and subtracting vector r. So our ending subtracting our beginning. So I have 3 subtract 5 and 2 subtract 4. And what I'm going to get is -2, -2. And then in part B, I'm going to have you write, should have had a vector sign there, sorry, vector rs using unit vector I and unit vector j. So when I look at this answer in A, I have a -2 in my x and a -2 as well in my y. So what I'm going to get is that vector rs is equal to -2i. That takes care of the -2 in the x. And then a plus -2j, that would take care of the -2 in the y, and it definitely would be preferred just to write this as -2i subtract 2j. So in part C, they're asking us to find a unit vector in the direction of rs. Before we can do that, we do need to find the length of rs. So in A, we found rs equals -2, -2. So if I am trying to find the magnitude or the length of rs, I'll be taking the square root of -2 squared plus -2 squared, so the square root of 8. And then because I do want that in exact form, I'm going to rewrite that as √4√2, which is 2√2. Now that I know the length of rs, now that I know that it's 2√2, I need to use that in the fraction to allow everything to cancel out and let this unit vector have a length of 1. Now the last step in solving this problem is to rewrite it in terms of unit vector. So I'm going to have 1 over the magnitude of rs times vector rs. So that's going to equal 1 over 2√2 times that vector rs, which was -2, -2. Now, if I wanted to go one step further, I could simplify this a little bit more, I guess you could say. So I could leave this as 1√2, and I could be canceling out, I'll just use my highlighter here, I could be canceling out some 2's. So this could just become -1, -1. I also could take that negative out of the rs, and I could put that in with my scalar. That would be an acceptable answer as well.